Hey, I'm Sunny. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more of my videos. Thank you. And let's get into this one. Okay, so I do not remember how I came across Mr. Lewis Carroll in the past couple weeks, but I did, and it it bothered my brain so much that I needed to go find all the information I could find that was attached to that man. Charles Ludwig Dodgson, better known as Lewis Carroll and also known as Dodo, was born in January 27th, 1832. Made him an Aquarius and a dragon in Daresbury, Cheshire, England. I want to fast forward to 1856. 1856 was also the year that the Little family moved their residence onto Oxford University campus, Christchurch. It seems to be the same area. Google Maps. The father of the Little family, his name was Henry. He was becoming the new dean of Oxford. He had 10 children with his wife. His wife's name was Lorena. Out of all 10 of their children, Alice would be the one that we would focus most on for this story because Carrol took a fondness to her. If you Google Lewis Carroll photography, you will see that Alice is the main child that is pictured, and those pictures are extremely inappropriate, especially for a grown man to have taken of a 6-year-old. Just because Alice is the child that this story focuses on does not mean that she is the only child that had dealings and interactions with Mr. Dodgson, Mr. Carroll, Dodo, Lewis. However, he got a ton of names. I don't know how to refer to him. All that. Including father. He was a deacon. Alice was born in 1852. Yet her friendship with Mr. Carrol Dodgson, man, Dodo, was its thickest in 1862. So when she was 10 and he was 30? Yeah, 30. He was 30, see? 1862 also being the year that it is said that Lewis told the little girls, you get it, the little girl, the story of Alice in Wonderland. Alice Little's account of the first time Lewis told her and her sisters the story of Alice in Wonderland. She said they were on a boat on their way to some mountains and hills, and Alice kind of demanded that he tell them a story. And then after he told her the story, she told him, now write it down. He did. He obliged. While they're on this picnic, I just want to remind everybody of everyone present's age. Alice was 10. Her younger sister Edith was 8. Her older sister Lorena was 12. And Mr. Carroll was 30. The next year, in 1863, Lewis Carroll and the Little family cut all contact. It is said in 1863, the very next year of him telling that story for the first time, that Carrol wanted to marry Alice, or that he had been having relations with her older sister, Lorena. I just want us to keep in mind that in Victorian times, much like what you see on Game of Thrones, we all remember Sansa having to get married as soon as she started blood. So if you were 12 and menstruating, you were no longer a child. There was something also that I came across. It was called the Victorian child cult. The honest best way to explain this is look at the difference between these photos and the children and their disposition, their clothing. Then look at these photos, the children, their disposition, their clothing. This last picture is Alice. In Victorian times, it was widely thought, assumed, and propagandized that menstruation or knowledge or experience will taint a child. So that means they're no longer innocent. I also found something that was named the Carrol myth after Mr. Lewis Carroll himself. Basically, they both are along the lines of Victorian grown folks viewed innocence and purity as uplifting and glorification of a child and their position. It is known that after 14 years old, Lewis would no longer keep in contact with his child friends. His words, not mine. With the Victorian child cult came the cult of the little girl. Bruh, it's a lot. Okay. The cult of the little girl was mainly perpetuated by Lewis Carroll and another author named James Barrie. I will post some of their works here because you more than likely know some of their stories. The cult of the little girl was a main theme in most of their works, and it kind of seemed like an expression of their fondness for childhood, but not in the way of continuing favorite childhood activities into adulthood, if you understand what I mean. These men were into tea parties with children. Lewis Carroll mainly only photographed and painted and wrote about children, mainly little girls, mainly Alice. In Victorian times, cameras were just coming to major popularity and were coming to be a little more accessible, to where photographers were more regular kind of people, which is how Lewis met the little family. He was out, he was taking pictures of the area, saw their kids, offered to take pictures of them. They all figured out they lived in the same area, therefore, boom. With photography becoming more and more popular, we see the things that they took pictures of. Some of this stuff is inappropriate to have in your personal possession. There was a picture that Lewis took of the 12-year-old sister, Lorena, at 12. She's fully nude in the picture. It is housed in the Louvre. Many scholars have looked at the art, the photography, and the writings of Mr. Carroll and have come to a conclusion that it is possible, only possible, that the man was a pedophile. Only possible that the man was a pedophile. While some scholars deemed him an artful soul, I see him as a bit too much. I don't see the need for anyone to have nude pictures of anyone under the age that did not consent. Under the age, for one, but also of somebody who did not consent. If y'all break up, you need to get rid of them. There's one picture of Alice that is the main picture that comes up, which I woo at the fact that in the picture, when you blow it up and see the whole picture, you can literally see the top of her areola, and she's fucking 6. What's wrong with the internet to where that's the main picture that pops up for this person? Alice Little grew up, married, had 3 children, named one Carrol, was a boy that she named Carrol. Mind my business. Not really, though. She traveled the world and she did not see her relationship or her time with Carrol as a bad situation or a troubled situation. That's her friend. That's her best friend. Alice Little passed away November 16th, 1934, at the age of 82 in Westerham, Kent, England. Charles Ludwig Dodgson, also known as Lewis Carroll, also known as Dodo, passed away January 14th, 1898 at the age of 65. If you like this video and you made it to the end, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed and make sure you leave a comment. I hope you have a really good rest of your day, night, whatever's going on. I'll see you next Thursday.